Rules of this national youth debating competition are: participants must be present 10 minutes before the commencement of the debate. 15 minutes lateness would result in disqualification and an automatic win for the other team. Each team must consist of only 3 members, all from the same.
Good morning, everyone. It is my honor to welcome you to this inaugural Speakers National Youth Debating Competition. Today is the third day of the competition and we're still in round 1. 4 debates have happened so far. 2 days last week, 2 debates each day. Today we have another exciting lineup. First, let me introduce our judges. The judges for this 5th debate in this first round are Mr. Delon Fraser, Chief Judge. Delon is a distinguished Toastmaster. He has been a Toastmaster for over 10 years. He is a member of the One Country, One World Advanced Toastmasters Club and the KAST Toastmasters Club. He has served and continues to serve in many leadership roles at the club's area, division, and district level. Mr. Fraser has judged numerous speech contests and has served as a judge for previous youth parliaments. Mr. Fraser has a master's degree in business administration, a bachelor's of social science degree in international relations, and a bachelor's of law degree. He holds an advanced diploma in project management and is a Franklin Covey facilitator, Global Peace Ambassador, Scout, a global shaper. Our next judge is Miss Melissa Dow Richardson, who is the Assistant Director of Sport, Ministry of Culture, Youth and Sport. Mrs. Dow Richardson is an alumna of St. Stanislaus College, the University of Guyana, History and Law, the University of the West Indies, International Relations, the American University of Peace Studies, Psychology, and the Caribbean Leadership Program. A former multidisciplinary national athlete in table tennis and basketball, her sports credentials include Olympic certification in sports administration, a WADA certified doping control officer, and Guyana first and only level 2 female table tennis coach. Mrs. Dow Richardson has a professional background in journalism, education, international relations, business management, community development, and coaching. Our third judge is Mrs. Monette Garnett Christopher, who is the Chief Administrative Officer of the Parliament Office. Mrs. Garnett Christopher has great expertise in administration and finance. She started her career at Queen's College as an economics teacher. She has a Master's of Business degree from the Australian Institute of Business and a Bachelor of Social Science degree in economics from the University of Guyana. Mrs. Garnet Christopher has experienced the stage as she participated in several club and inter-club speech contests through the Kasik Toastmasters Club. She also performed several functions including general evaluator, grammarian of table topics and speeches. Mrs. Christopher believes that it is important to keep abreast with current affairs as you are informed and updated about the status quo locally and globally. Today, the two teams are, the one proposing is the Berbice Development Youth Group. The Berbice Development Youth Group was created so youths in Region 5 can pool their intelligence and knowledge to improve their communities and assist other young people. Through the group, youth gain experiences in social skills and have access to a pool of knowledge in which opportunities for further educational goals as well as work can be derived. The opposing team is the KAST Talent Management. KAST Talent Management brings together talented youth who are contributors to the art and entertainment industry in Guyana. It was founded by Mr. Kamisi Slow, who is a long-standing contributor to the arts. The organization scouts and markets talents both locally and internationally. KAST Talent Management takes pride in giving back to the community and the country at large by volunteering its services when needed. The organization hosts an annual seawall cleanup activity. For the proposing team, we have their first speaker is Mr. Chitranjan Jaikisoon, who is 28 years old from Bushlot Village, West Coast, Berbice. The second speaker would be Ms. Babita Singh, 22 years old from Cotton Tree Village, West Coast, Berbice. And their third speaker is Mr. Vikash Budu, 19 years old from Bath Settlement, West Coast, Berbice. The KAST Talent Management Group, their first speaker is Mr. Crystal Willis, 21 years old, from Westminster, West Bank, Demerara. Their second speaker is Mr. Juvan Sampson, 26 years old, from Hatfield Street, Georgetown. And the third speaker for KAST is Mr. Ose Clark, 20 years old, from Albertown. Today's moot is, like English, Spanish should be a core subject in the education system. I declare this debate open, and it is my honor to call the first speaker from the Berbice Development Youth Group, Mr. Chitranjan Jaikisoon, to make his presentation. Is Chitranjan in place?
Yes, Mr. Speaker.
Okay, Chitranjan, at 10:09.45, you can begin.
Mr. Speaker, most erudite judges, learned opponents, good morning. I am the first speaker of the preposition, proposing the moot. Like English, Spanish should be a core subject in the education system. I will highlight deficiencies in the education sector and examine the impact on trade relations. The second speaker will deliver on the impact on tourism. The third speaker will speak on the social impact in a Guyanese context and will summarize our argument. Distinguished judges, in defining the key terms in the MOOC, the word core, according to Black's Law Dictionary, is the most basic, a matter of policy. The mood can be redefined to be there should be a policy to teach Spanish along with English in our schools. Honorable judges, in examining the rules of this debate, I noticed that there is no language barrier. I was tempted to deliver my arguments in Spanish. However, I will not, because as reported by the Bureau of Statistics in 2014, less than 0.4% of the Guyanese population understands Spanish. And even though some of the basics are being taught in a few schools, it is not delivered as a core subject. The Ministry of Education end of year report in 2019 states 13% of schools in Guyana actually have Spanish taught in them. Respected judges, you may be questioning why should there be an effort to learn Spanish, the second most spoken language in the world, according to the Washington Post. A major reason is because Guyana needs to establish effective communication with its Spanish-speaking neighbors to exploit its trade and developmental ambition. Communications is key. Lord judges, let us examine the language policy of Equatorial Guinea, whose official languages are Spanish, Portuguese, and French, a multilingual policy implemented solely to boost their trade. We can see that the country has gained tremendously from this, since it is the highest level of per capita income in sub-Saharan Africa, according to the IMF. Guyana, being located where it is, has an important strategic position to build an international hub for commerce and trade. Currently, Guyana neglects 13 Spanish-speaking economies within the hemisphere, which have a collective GDP of $2,880,000,000 US dollars. Surely, should we make this language barrier severed, we can make headway in establishing valuable trading partnerships. Honorable judges, Guyana currently trades 56% of its total exports to English-speaking countries, with the remainder traded to non-Spanish-speaking countries except Venezuela, which Guyana trades 1.2% of its exports with. Most alarmed judges and members of the opposition, Venezuela, a country that we have a dispute with, constitutes the largest percentage export that Guyana trades with a Spanish-speaking country, according to the Bureau of Statistics Quarterly Report 2021. Surely, Guyana cannot be this bad in trade and logic. Distinguished judges, I turn our attention to the local content policy for the petroleum sector. I submit to you that Guyana could set itself up in an advantageous position if we have the capacity to engage with our regional Spanish-speaking oil-producing neighbors. These countries all have a tremendous number of human resources from which Guyana can learn and benefit. However, will we frustrate the process by having stuttering, muttering individuals in high-profile meetings searching for their phones while we wait on Google Translate to buffer? No. So implement this policy now. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Tranjan. The opening speaker for the KAST Talent Management Group is Ms. Crystal Willis. Ms. Willis,
Good morning.
the floor is now yours at 10:13:42.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Good morning, esteemed judges, Mr. Speaker, and everyone watching this live broadcast. Also, to my colleagues. My name is Crystal Wills, and I'm the first speaker of the opposition. The moot. Like English, Spanish should be a core subject in the education system. Firstly, I would like to state the definition from the Oxford Dictionary of the word core. And I quote, "The part is something that is central to its existence or character." Now I will proceed on to my argument. Firstly, it is a known fact that English is the most common language in the world, inclusive of both native and non-native speakers. With that being said, most persons, we of the opposition believe that most persons should take it upon themselves to learn the English language for one main reason: traveling. For instance, the situation that is currently going on in our country or homeland Guyana with Venezuelans and Cubans coming into our country and not knowing our official language, which is English. We believe that if you're going to travel to someone's homeland or country, you should, and I repeat, you should learn the official language of that country in order to communicate properly with the citizens there. Not knowing English when you travel would make it very difficult on the employees and the citizens because they wouldn't be able to understand your wants and needs. We as a nation should not have to wholeheartedly learn Spanish like English to accommodate others. English is a mandatory subject and should remain as such. Don't you, the members of the proposition, think it would be hilarious to make Spanish a core subject in the education system like English? I will now pass you over to my other colleague for them to give you many more reasons as to why Spanish shouldn't be a core part of the education system. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ms. Wills. I now call Ms. Babita Singh, the second speaker for the proposing group, the Berbice Development Youth Group. Ms. Singh, the floor is now yours.
Mr. Speaker, honorable judges, members of the opposition, I, the second speaker, is tasked to convince you why it is important that Spanish be included in our teaching curriculum with aids with our tourism sector. Mastering a foreign language is essential for those working in the tourism sector, as it is a means of communication with tourists, understanding cultural differences, and increase job opportunities both locally and internationally. It is no secret that Gen Y and Z loves to travel, so Guyanese being able to only speak one language. You would think it will limit the number of countries they can travel to. No, this is not the case, because international tourism sectors have accommodations to solve these issues, street signs in different languages, tourist guides speaking many languages, even street vendors in our international countries speak in different languages. Does Guyana even have a fraction of these accommodations? No, Mr. Speaker. In the year 2018, the number of Guyanese visited Spain was recorded at 9,100. According to the UNWTO data, Guyana received approximately 350,000 foreign visitors in the year 2019, 163,000 more than in 2010. Guyana has also won the title #1 eco-tourism destination in 2019 at the ITB Global Travel and Trade Fair. Andrea declares executive members of the GTA said, and I quote, "This means the best kept secret we have kept all to ourselves. The entire world knows about it. We Guyanese should up our game and to ensure the level of service is #1 in the world," end of quote. How can we up our game? And I repeat, how can we up our game if we cannot communicate with our peers? If we are on the title best #1 ecotourism destination, Guyanese need to speak a second language. Why not Spanish? And why not make it a core subject in our teaching curriculum so that the future generation is more equipped to tackle our tourism sector? And we all know tourism is a vital sector in our country. And I close by saying, members of the opposition, please do digest the fact that if our workforce, specifically in the tourism sector, is fluent in speaking Spanish, it will leave a positive impression on tourists that our country recognizes this language barrier, trying to make them comfortable as can be during their stay. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Babita. The second speaker for the KAST Talent Management Group is Mr. Jovan Sampson. Jovan, are you ready? You can begin. Go ahead, Javon.
Yes, good morning, Mr. Speaker, honorable judges, members of the preposition, my teammates, and everyone tuning across the world watching live. I am Javon Sampson, and I am representing the KAST Talent Management. With our mute, like English, Spanish should be a core subject in our education system. Now, my team and I believe that Spanish should not be a core subject. Reason being, Guyana is the only, and I repeat, the only English-speaking country in South America. And with that, we're not only surrounded by Spanish, we have the Dutch, we have Portuguese, we also have French neighbors. What happens in the case, members of the preposition, what happens if our students or our people are to communicate with other neighboring countries who have other languages when they visit Guyana? Our people should not be forced with another language other than our common language, which is English. If it is a child, should be bilingual. That child should have the opportunity to choose which foreign language he or she should learn. Because in another instance, what happens, members of the preposition, if it is that we do travel to other countries, other than Spanish-speaking countries, we would have to learn their language instead of their adjusting their educational system to suit us. Now, with that being said, it goes back to me saying, I believe that Spanish should not be made a core subject in our education system. Thank you.
Thank you, Javon. And the third speaker for the Berbice Development Youth Group is Mr. Vikash Budu. Vikash, you can now proceed with your contribution. It's 10:22:20.
A special good morning, Mr. Speaker. Honorable judges, fellow colleagues on the proposing side, and my learned colleagues on the opposition. I rise before you as the final speaker on the proposition side to bring finality to our argument. Thus far, my colleagues have argued that, like English, Spanish should be a core subject in our education system, and I will now embark to provide you with more evidence in support of the move, specifically looking at the social impact it has on our society. According to the 2018 UNICEF report on South America, it shows that Guyana population has increased 3.5% in the Hispanic race. One of the reasons for this is an alarming number of Venezuelan refugees reside in Guyana. According to the Hebrew Aid Humanity Society 2020 report, it shows that 22,000 Venezuelan refugees currently resides in Guyana. That figure only covers 2.3% of the increase, while the other 1.2% come from other Spanish natives in the country for the purpose of tour and trade. With this being said, including Spanish in our education system as a core subject will benefit our society with a huge positive impact to correspond with the continuous change in our demographics, both presently and in time to come. Honorable judges, secondly, I would like to stress on a more important point, or probably the most important point there is, why Spanish should be a core subject in our education system, and that's none other than career opportunity. Opposition members, I'm pleading with you. Honorable judges, choosing a career is both important for a youngster and the country. Having a child wanting to further his or her studies in the field of health or other related sector, mainly they would have to choose a foreign country like Cuba to pursue their studies. Our public service department can confirm that approximately 70 students pursue their study in Cuba every year. And it's hard for these students. It's hard because instead of reading for a degree in 4 years, it actually costs them about 5 or 6 because these students have to spend a year or two trying to learn Spanish so that they can adapt to their new learning environment. It doesn't only cause these students, honorable judges, but it causes us as a country as well, due to the fact that instead of us expecting a doctor in 4 years, one will be here in 5 or 6. Honorable judges, with no hesitation, I stand here firmly, fully support our move like English, Spanish should be a core subject in our education system because this is the 21st century. Knowing a second language is no longer a luxury, but a necessity. And I think this is something the opposition should take note of. I rest my case. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Vikash. And the final speaker this morning comes from KAST Talent Management, Mr. Jose Clark. Restart, Jose. Jose, you will have to restart. We didn't hear you. Jose, you'll have to restart. Mr. Clark, you will restart in 5 seconds.
Can you hear me now?
Give us a mic test, Jose.
You're hearing me, right?
We're not hearing. We are not, Jose.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, Jose. You can start now, Jose. 10:27:35.
Yes. Thank you. Pleasant good morning, Mr. Speaker, members of the proposition, honorable judges, and my teammates, colleagues as well. Now, as the third and final speaker of my team, it is my job to reiterate and to reinforce what my colleagues have said, as well as to establish a few more key points. Now, my first point I would like to look into is that a news article from Newsroom Guyana stated between the years 2015 to 2020, an average of 68.91% of C6 students in Guyana are passing the English language. However, that leaves more than 31% of our youths still failing at our own language. Now note, these youths are born here, raised here, yet they're having a difficulty in mastering their own language. Now, by making Spanish a core, all right, what we do is that we make it much more difficult for them to learn their own language. I mean, if I can't speak English properly and I was born and raised here, right? Why should I try to force Spanish down my own throat? No. And next point I would love to establish is that one of the main things, all right, just like my teammate said, was that when we go to these other countries, when we travel, okay, it's not like the persons over there are like, oh my God, these people are coming here, let's all go learn English. No, they don't do that. What we have to do, we have to study their language before we go there. Whether it's Chinese, Portuguese, Spanish, whatever country we're going to, we have to study their language before we go there. And they, over there, are thinking, okay, they're going to come here and they're going to learn our language. But we're here saying, they are coming here, let us learn their language. Guyana is already listed among Caribbean countries as a foreign minded. Now look, where did Carnival come from? We didn't even have Carnival, but now Carnival is a big thing in Guyana. Just to show you, before we know it, our country will be listed as a Spanish-speaking country. What makes Guyana unique? One of our main things that makes us unique is one of the only English-speaking countries in South America. Now look at this, right? Look at this. By making Spanish a core subject, you now make us okay. You not only speak English, but you speak Spanish as well. We're not that special anymore because Spanish-speaking countries are learning English. All right? Guyana is already listed. I was on YouTube the other day checking out some music, and I saw some Guyanese songs listed on the Latin American music rather than Guyanese music. You know why is that? Because our country, progress of our country is already going towards that. Now, if you want to learn Spanish, fine. Okay? But do it at an embassy. Thank you. I rest my case.
Thank you very much, Mr. Clark. And those are the presentations from the 6 participants representing the 2 groups, the Berbice Youth Development Group and the KAST Talent Management Group. We are now going to hear from Ms. Carlotta Charles about the competition, some of the rules, and also some of the exciting prizes. This will give our teams an opportunity to gather their thoughts together and to prepare for the rebuttals. In about 7 minutes, we are going to return with the rebuttals, first coming from Ms. Crystal Wills from KAST Talent Management, and then from the proposing group by Mr. Chitranjan Jaikisoon. Over to Ms. Carlotta Charles.
Institutions of democracy, particularly the parliament, among our young people. Out of this recognition, birthed the National Youth Debating Competition. This competition serves as a feeder into the 6th Annual Youth Parliament 2021. Rather than having participants in Youth Parliament being students of the University of Guyana only, this competition will allow for broader participation among young people in civil society. The competition involves 48 participants from 16 youth groups across the education districts of Guyana. These groups were nominated by the Ministry of Culture, Youth and Sport. The competition, moderated by the Honorable Speaker, will see 15 sessions of debates. 4 sessions will be held each week, on Tuesdays and Fridays from 10 a.m. to 11 a.m. and 2 p.m. to 3 p.m. The debates will be adjudicated by a total of 9 capable and erudite judges who were organized in pools of 3 and who will be rotated over the duration of the competition. Each competition must have rules. The rules of this National Youth Debating Competition are: participants must be present 10 minutes before the commencement of the debate. 15 minutes lateness would result in disqualification and an automatic win for the other team. Each team must consist of only 3 members, all from the same youth group. Failure to comply will result in the disqualification of the team. Once a team has started the competition, no member should be replaced. The first speaker will be the first speaker of the proposing team, followed by the first speaker of the opposing team, and it will alternate in this order. The times allotted to each speaker are as follows. First speaker, 4 minutes. Second and third speakers, 3 minutes. And the rebuttal will be 5 minutes. The rebuttal must be done by only the first speaker on each team. No new arguments or materials should be introduced into the rebuttal. 10 points will be deducted for introduction of new arguments. A bell will be rung first to indicate that the speaker should commence. The second bell will indicate that 1 minute is remaining, and there would be a final bell when that time has elapsed. 5 points will be deducted from each speaker who does not adhere to the allotted time. In the event of technical difficulties, a speaker may be allotted additional time. This is at the discretion of the judges. Speakers may refer to notes but should not read them. 5 points will be deducted from any speaker who reads a prepared speech. Points will be awarded for reasoning and logic, originality, relevance, mechanics, articulation, development of argument, development of points, attitude to opponent, and cohesion. There must be keen attention paid to subject and verb agreement. And finally, the judges' decisions are final. This competition is not without reward. With regard to prizes, I am pleased to inform you that 24 participants out of the total of 48 winners of the first round of this competition will advance to become members of Youth Parliament 2021. Every participant would receive a certificate of participation, a youth debater's pin, and special tokens. Prizes include trophies, plaques, cash, and electronics, and will be awarded to the best debater in each round, all semi-finalists and finalists. I have the confidence that we could look forward to very meaningful and robust debates over the next few weeks. Honorable Mansour Nadir, Speaker of the National Assembly and moderator, will now take us through the debate. Best of luck, everyone.
Welcome back.
Welcome
Thank
to the
you,
inaugural
Carletta.
Speakers
We
National.
have reached a stage where in a matter of a minute, we are going to be hearing the rebuttals from the proposition and the opposition, starting with the opposition. Just to remind our audience, the judges for today's debate, this morning's debate, are Ms. Melissa Dow Richardson, the Assistant Director of Sport, Ministry of Culture, Youth and Sport, Ms. Monette Garnett Christopher, the Chief Administrative Officer of the Parliament Office, and the Chief Judge, Mr. Delon Fraser, who is a distinguished Toastmaster. Those are the judges. Today's moot is, like English, Spanish should be a core subject in the education system, and we have heard the presentations from the Berbice Development Youth Group, from West Berbice, Region 5, and from KAST Talent Management from Georgetown. Is Ms. Wills all ready with her rebuttal? The rebuttal time? And the rebuttal will start with Ms. Crystal Wills from KAST Talent Management. Crystal, the floor is now yours.
All right, Mrs. Speaker. Thank you. Firstly, I would like to mention what the first, second, and third speakers of the proposition stated. The first speaker spoke about making Guyana the number one ecotourism destination. The second speaker as well spoke about the same thing in further details. And the third speaker spoke about learning Spanish when they want to travel for educational purposes. Firstly, our nation is equipped with translators for tourism purposes. So if the country or organizations within our countries choose to bring in persons for such, then they would have translators to communicate with them in a better manner. Secondly, never mind persons coming to When we leave to go to another man's country, then we would have to learn that country's official language. Like I said before, it would be hideous for us to now change our nation, change the fact that we are the only English-speaking country in South America, to now learn English and Spanish just to suit persons coming into our country. Did the members of the proposition think about that? Did they think about the strain that would put on our educational system? Like my colleague was saying, stated before, persons are already not doing as well in English. So now why make them learn Spanish just because you want to bring in persons into our countries? Just because you want to trade with other persons. Another thing is that Chinese is one of the largest traders in the world. We wear Chinese, we eat Chinese, we go to Chinese restaurants. Why not learn Chinese? Why Spanish? Now, like the third speaker of the proposition team member said that if we're going to leave Guyana to go to Cuba, so let's say be a doctor or something of the sort, then we would have to learn the language. But the thing is with that, if you choose along career lines to be something in that origin, then you have the option to learn Spanish. Spanish shouldn't be forced down our throat. Spanish is being taught in Guyana, but like the mood stated, Spanish, like English, should Spanish be a core subject in the educational system? No, it should not. We should learn Spanish if we choose to. Once again, I would like persons on the live stream, the judges, Mr. Speaker, and persons of the opposition to think about the things that they're saying. Did you guys think about the strain? No, I don't think you talked about the strain. Like I said earlier, persons should take it upon themselves to learn the language. We have the Venezuelan Institute that teaches Spanish. If you choose to learn Spanish, then you go learn Spanish for whatever your purpose is. But once again, we disagree with English, with Spanish being a core subject in the educational system, like English. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ms. Crystal Wills from KAST Talent Management. And now, the rebuttal from the proposing team, the Berbice Youth Development Group, and the rebuttal will be done by Mr. Chitranjan Jaikisoon. Mr. Jaikisoon, the floor is now yours.
Respected judges, I stand before you once again to re-amplify our support for the moot and to dissect the opposition's argument. And I will not bring in new points. The first speaker spoke that English is the most spoken language. So what is the impact of this? We are not contending a dispute here. The moot has the word like in it. Spanish, like English, should be taught in our educational system. The first speaker spoke on traveling, situations where Cubans and Venezuelans are coming into our country, and the nation should not wholeheartedly learn Spanish. The second speaker on our proposition spoke eloquently on tourism and the benefits of it. We see it as a benefit, not as an albatross on the neck, a dark and ominous position taken by the first speaker of the opposition. The second speaker spoke that Guyana is the only English-speaking country in South America. We are a cosmopolitan society. As stated by our third speaker, the demographic change is going to lead us in a certain direction, one that will have Spanish in this country very, very soon. The second speaker also spoke a child should be able to choose what language he or she should learn. So is the second speaker proposing that we should trust the responsibility on nursery school children to craft their own destiny? Mr. Speaker, honorable judges, the third speaker spoke that when we move to another country, we have to learn their language. The third speaker in our proposition spoke that Spanish is not only being used in these modern times as a luxury, but as a necessity. I would have highlighted points that shows that we have more to benefit from learning this language than to not learn it. I rest my case, Honorable Judges. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Jacob. Students, ladies and gentlemen, viewers, those are the presentations from the two groups this morning in the fifth debate in the Speaker's National Youth Debating Competition. Today's teams were the Berbice Development Youth Group from Region 5 and the KAST Talent Management Group from Georgetown. The two groups debated the moot. Like English, Spanish should be a core subject in the education system. Three speakers from the proposition were Chitranjan Jaikesoon, 28 years old, from Bushlot Village, West Coast, Berbice. The second speaker was Ms. Babita Singh, 22 years old, from Cotton Tree Village, West Coast, Berbice. The third speaker was Mr. Vikash Budu, 19 years old, from Bath Settlement, West Coast, Berbice. From the KAST Talent Management Group, the lead speaker was Ms. Crystal Wills, 21 years old, from Westminster, West Bank, Demerara. Mr. Juvon Sampson, 26 years old, from Hatfield Street, and Mr. Osei Clark, 20 years old, from Alberton in Georgetown. So those were the two teams and the debaters from both teams. We have had some comments from our viewers, and we continue to attract more persons logging in to these debates. Ms. Sonia Obermuller says that the participants, the debaters, have done an awesome job. Thank you very much, Ms. Obermuller. I want to remind of the judges for today, and those judges are Ms. Melissa Dow Richardson, who is the Assistant Director of Sport, Ministry of Culture, Youth and Sport. Ms. Dow Richardson is an alumna of St. Stanislaus College, the University of Guyana, the University of the West Indies, the American University of Peace Studies, and the Caribbean Leadership Program. She is a former multidiscipline national athlete in table tennis and basketball. She holds Olympic certification in sports administration, WADA certified doping control officer, and Guyana first and only level 2 female table tennis coach. Our next judge is Ms. Monette Garnett Christopher, the Chief Administrative Officer of Parliament Office. Ms. Garnett Christopher has expertise in administration and finance. She started her career at Queen's College as an economics teacher. She holds a Bachelor of Business Administration, a Master's of Business Administration degree from the Australian Institute of Business and a Bachelor of Social Sciences degree in economics from the University of West Indies. She has participated in several competitions and speech contests through the KAST Toastmasters Club. She believes it is important for people to stay abreast with current affairs. Our Chief Judge today is Mr. Delon Fraser, who is a distinguished Toastmaster. Delon is a member of the One Country, One World Advanced Toastmasters Club and the KAST Toastmasters Club. He served and continues to serve in leadership roles in those clubs, area, division, and district levels. He has a Master's of Business Administration degree, a Bachelor of Social Science degree in International Relations, and a Bachelor's of Law degree. He holds an advanced diploma in project management and is pursuing his legal certification to practice in Guyana as a lawyer. Those are our judges today for the competition. We also have today, we were told about the competition, the speakers, National Youth Debating Competition, an initiative launched to be a feeder into our National Youth Parliament, which will be held in August of this year. 16 teams are facing off in the first round of the competition, and we are still in the first round of the competition. These 16 teams vie against each other in 8 matches. 8 will advance into the quarterfinals starting next week. The finals will be held on July the 9th, right here where you're getting us in the National Assembly, on social media, and on television. Exciting prizes are on offer to the debaters. Everyone will receive certificates of participation. Every debate match will see a winner being given a trophy, and all the finalists will receive tablets, monetary prizes, tokens, and the best debater in the finals will receive a laptop computer. So that is for the speakers national debating competition. I see our judges are ready, and I will call on Ms. Dow Richardson to make some remarks on today's competition.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Good morning. Good morning to my fellow judges, to our debaters, the staff here at Parliament Office, and to everyone watching this fantastic activity online. I really must congratulate our debaters for their presentations. It's very, very commendable that you put yourselves together in a team. You're uniformed and you've brought yourselves here to represent your point of view to the Guyanese people. Just a few brief comments. It's very important that when we express ourselves, the articulation is clear. This allows the listener to really understand the argument that's being put forward. So we want to caution against rushing your argument or delaying, but pace yourself through the debate. Pace yourself through your presentation so that your points can be clear in your head and expressed well verbally. I also want to bring some attention to the issue of logically developing the argument. Preparation is important. Sitting together as a team, looking at the mood, looking at not just what you have to present, but what would come to you. If we don't prepare, it shows in the work that we put out. So there were some challenges in terms of cohesion of some of the arguments, and this might be due to the lack of preparation individually and then collectively. So there were some cohesion challenges. But the strengths were there. Let me just say clearly, there were strengths. There was evidence of research. There was use of statistics. There was references to other parts of the world, not just here in South America, but sub-Saharan Africa. And this is important and commendable as well. So the only thing that I would want to conclude on is the importance of preparation and the fact that this can make or break your overall presentation. Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you, Ms. Robertson, Mrs. Robertson. Our next judge, Ms. Monet Garnett Christopher, will give us some comments on today's debate.
Thank you, sir. Good morning, everyone. Congratulations to all the presenters. I wish to draw some of my observations to your attention. Your points were well developed and they were well supported by your arguments. I felt that you did your research, there was great evidence there. I like the fact that you brought some attention to our Spanish speaking neighbors as well. But however, there was some amount of reading. I think you should be able to learn your presentations and come here and deliver to us rather than reading. It takes away from your confidence when you read. The opposition, I think, somewhat focused a lot on English and not why Spanish should not be included in the system. So I think you need to pay attention there too. For one of the presenters, your delivery was a little distorted. We were not able to hear you clearly, but nevertheless, I think it was a good session this morning, and again, I wish to congratulate all of you. Thank you.
Thank you, Mrs. Christopher. Our Chief Judge is Mr. Delon Fraser. Mr. Chief Judge.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker, and of course, congratulations to all those persons sitting at home, as well as those participants who participated in this morning's debate. I would first like to thank you because I've recognized and observed you had great structure in your presentation. Some of you had really good flow. You were able to transition from one point to the other. One team was able to create synergy with their between the speakers from speaker 1 through to speaker 2, all the way to speaker 3, and even in their rebuttal. We also like to thank you because we heard some great use of the English language. While some of you were pasting it, we were still able to gather what your point was. And so that is important for us as a judge to sit here and listen keenly to what you have presented. I would also like to leave with you 3 out of my 5 P's for this morning's debate. My 2 judges spoke on one, which is preparation. The other I will speak on is polish. So you need to prepare, polish, and present. So in the preparation stage, indeed, that is where you get your structure together. The polishing is where you're able to time yourself so that you will be able to present your arguments in the time that is allotted to you. While one team had great use of time management, the other did not. And so in any debate, one of the most critical things you must understand is to make full use of your time. And this lends to preparation. The last but not least, and which is the final thing you should always do, is just what you did today, present. So always ensure that you prepare properly, you polish your presentation, and then you present. With that being said, Mr. Speaker, we've had great use of the English language. We had great use of interpretation. We've heard 1 and 2 colloquials slipping into the arguments. We've had some relevance issue, and of course, new arguments being introduced into the debate. Debaters are warned about this to ensure that whenever they are speaking, whenever they are about to make an argument, if they want to speak on that argument, then it must form a base in their main argument. That is, in the team's presentation. Mr. Speaker, the judges were excited today, and so it gives me great pleasure now to give you the scores. We've had one team accumulating 261 points in total, and we've had another team accumulating 208 points altogether. And so the team that we thought best presented their arguments here this morning is none other than Berbice Development Youth Group. Congratulations. Further, Mr. Speaker, it wasn't a very hard task again in selecting the best speaker for today's debate. And this title goes to none other than Mr. Vikash Budu, which is the 3rd speaker coming from Berbice Development Youth Group. Congratulations, and I wish you growth and success as you progress in this competition. Mr. Speaker.
Thank you very much, Chief Judge. Congratulations to our teams, all of the participants. I'm sure we have learned a lot today, and we want to ensure that this competition becomes a calendar event of the National Assembly. So congratulations, Vikash, and congratulations to the winners, the Berbice Development Youth Group. I also want to thank this morning our judges, our Chief Judge Delon Fraser, Miss Melissa Dow Richardson, and Miss Monet Garnet Christopher. Special recognition to the Ministry of Culture, Youth and Sport, who collaborated with us, and the Minister himself in assisting to identify the 16 youth groups to participate in this competition. Thank you very much, Minister. Thank you very much, Ministry of Culture, Youth and Sport. And I want to thank our organizers led by Ms. Carlotta Charles, who you would have seen making a presentation on the competition itself. Thank you very much, our organizing committee, and thank you all for sharing this hour with us. We'll see you this afternoon at 2 p.m. when we engage in the sixth competition of the first round of the Speaker's Youth Debating Competition. Thank you very much. Have a great rest of the day.